Hi, I've come down to the waterfront today in Halifax to record this. It's probably not going to be a formal edition of Penchant Social for you socialites. It's probably more reflection on what's been going on in my life over the last couple of weeks. Even though, I profess to have a number of solutions from all of the work I've done with respect to how thoughts can create experiences and experiences can create chemical emotions, doesn't mean I'm without those things happening in my life. And I think over the last 2 weeks, a number of things have conspired and come together which have taken me to a challenging place. And I know a lot of you girls out there who are transitioning late in life will have family concerns and family issues going on amongst many other things. And I thought what I'd like to do is just share with you what's happened over the last period, the last 2 weeks, let you know how that's affected me and where I stand. As I say, I would probably think about 10 days down the line. So as you can see, it's a gorgeous place to come to record a video, and I've done this deliberately because I could have done it in my apartment, and I think the outcome would have been fine. But I've come out into the environment here, which is gorgeous, surrounded by beautiful yachts and boats and people just generally relaxing. But for me, it's about expansiveness and recognizing that we all find ourselves in difficult positions because we get very narrow in our thinking. We get very narrow and focused on some of those things which haven't gone our way. And those big dreams you have, especially when you do transition about what life's going to be like and how you're going to feel, you lose those to some degree because you get trapped thinking about those smaller little issues which are burdening you at a particular point in time. So my situation started with my gorgeous old phone that I called it my life support system. I think a lot of people laughed at me. When I was really going through my transitioning period, I used it for my journaling. When I was struggling, I used it to listen to meditation music, all sorts of things. And it was like losing a dear friend when it finally gave up its technological soul and went to heaven. And it never ever struck me that would be the case, but getting a replacement was absolutely key for me. So I knew I couldn't live my life without having a new phone. So little did I know it was beginning of a difficult period because I wanted a specific phone so that I could record these videos when I'm out and about like this. And I did a lot of research into it, and off I went and I invested in one. Meant to come a week down the line, which was a little bit slow, but that's okay. And it was fine. I was all prepared for that mentally, but it didn't arrive. It got lost. So that was going on, and having a lot of difficulty in terms of corresponding with my wife. I found the emotions of that just extremely difficult. And they say that wisdom is an experience, is knowledge without the emotion attached to it. And whilst I'd like to believe that I'm, well into the separation now, I've got so much emotion tied up into it. I've only got to think about some of the things that are happening between my wife and I and my children and I, that I do get very emotional. So I had that going on, had the telephone going on, and one or two other things which I won't go into because I really don't want to give it the energy it deserves. So anyway, I just found myself in a very dark spiral, and the expansiveness of my goals, my ambitions, it was kind of lost. I was just completely immersed in the minor issues. And it can, and I'm sure there are a lot of transgender people that find themselves in a similar place, that life can kind of consume them. In other words, their outer environment, things that are going on in their life beyond their internal system, becomes greater than how they feel mentally and how they feel physically. And when that occurs, it's a difficult place to be, because you then become a victim of your environment and of your circumstances, where before you weren't. You were very much the master of those things, the captain of your soul, as they say in Invictus. So I'd kind of lost the recipe to some degree, and the happy, gregarious person that had surrendered her soul to the universe was getting really stuck down in the minutiae of all of the things that were going on around her. So without going into too much more detail, you've kind of got the picture. So you've got this situation where your external environment is making you the victim of what's going on. You've lost that internal control you had previously, and you've just got to find a way through it. For me, not having my phone, it meant my gorgeous friends weren't instantly available to me. So I was kind of trapped in my apartment, and I tried to bury myself in my businesses and getting them off the ground. And there's some challenges there. Doing that is not the easiest thing to do. So I took the wrong option there as well. Didn't find myself going out too much. I was very much on my computer from morning till night, and as I say, just making my situation much worse than it needed to be. So awareness, I say that a lot. I say it in the PennyXxxxxx business. I've got a methodology framework called Aspire. And the A stands for awareness, and the first thing you've got to be is consciously aware of your thinking and what's going on around you, and whether you're becoming a victim or not. And for sure, I had that awareness, and that's where I was at. I was very much the victim of things that allowed myself to become victimized, and my thoughts had become very, very narrow. So locking myself in my apartment, not being out, everything kind of conspired into narrowness, and I'd lost those expansive thoughts I'd had for many, many months, leading to just a joyous existence and a joyous life. So I knew that, and the real question was, what was I going to do to change it? So the answer wasn't simple. I meditate twice a day, meditate for, I would say, 30 to 40 minutes. And I just found my subconscious interrupting my conscious thought very, very much. And it was really a case of just doubling up my efforts to push back, push down all of those negative thoughts, those subconscious thoughts that were really flooding into my head, and just trying to find that 30-40 minutes in the morning as soon as I rose and before I went to sleep, to just try and clear my head of all of those minor little things that had been getting on top of me. So this gorgeous boat just going by. So I managed to do that, and I think that was the turning point. And I think it's having those disciplines in your life, especially for people like us who are challenged for who we are, let alone what's going on in the life around you. You're just exposed to so much that a lot of people don't appreciate it, and they don't get it. So you've got to have mechanisms. And I resorted to email, and one friend just came through, and you just need one. Emailed me every day, how am I? And I must admit, I felt pretty bad, because I'm the one normally providing the support for everybody who's just not on song. And then here am I taking it, but I took it gratefully, and it really helped me immensely WhatsApp is a gorgeous piece of software, and it enables you to converse and convey feelings very, very rapidly. But when it's not there, you're left with good old email. So that was that. I couldn't get in contact with my mother, which was quite a thing as well, because at 89 years of age, she doesn't understand these things. And when I did finally get my phone, I had 12 messages from her, and I won't tell you what she said, but it did make me giggle. Anyway, so yeah, having mechanisms and meditation was it for me, and I don't apologize for recommending this to everyone I know. There is nothing better than understanding how your conscious mind can push back on your subconscious mind and just give you that clear thinking you need to get through some of those difficult moments. So my phone arrived, as you can see. I'm recording this video, and life began to return to normal. But expansiveness, I want to come back to that because it's a really important point. And that's why I've done this here today. Expansiveness in your thinking, in your meditation is really important. It's really important because there are much, much bigger things that we've all, doesn't matter whether you're transgendered or not, that we've all got in our mind. And when you lose sight of those and you get trapped in those little minor things, that's when problems really occur. So I think my message is, awareness, first of all. Make sure you're aware of where you're mentally at and what's going on in your head. And if you can do that, it's like a safeguard, because you can then think about, well, what do I need to do? So what are those things I can change in my life which will bring that joy, that harmony back into what I'm doing? So I think that's it. I'm on the way back. I know I am. I was out yesterday with Bob, who featured with me in Penchant Social 2, and we had a gorgeous day together. And I found myself again full of joy, full of heart, and I was just loving being me, and that's not a strange thing to say. I'll contend, and I write regularly, that if you can't love yourself, how can you give other people love? So it starts there, and again, that's something I'm very conscious of. So get the love inside of you, get the joy inside of you, and it'll start to come out again. And if you think about it, and if you watch yourself when you don't have the love, you don't have the joy, just watch yourself, be conscious of yourself, and you'll find that you're not being loving to people. I mean, I'll just give you one side note, and if he watches this, I apologize to him profusely, but during this period, I'm having my website designed at the moment, and everything was going on, and the website just did not look as if it was heading in the direction I wanted it to go in, and I wrote an email which I seriously regret now. My old self came out. It was just full of anxiety, and I was in survival mode, very much in survival mode, and fighting my corner, and it was unpleasant. So I wrote to him, and I have profusely apologized for doing that. But it's just where you can be led and where you can be taken if you're not aware, and we all go there. So if you're watching this and think, oh my goodness, I find myself in this position on a regular basis, I think all I'm saying to you is that's nothing to worry about. As long as you can recognize it, you can deal with it. In other words, you've got your own way of kind of getting back from being narrow to being broad and expansive. Another metaphor is, a narrow, winding road full of obstacles, because that's where I was, and I've got back onto this very straight, broad highway, and it's beautiful to be back there. So I think that's it. So Penchant Socialites, I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found it helpful as well. You know, my intention is to make sure that I'm sharing my experiences with you, but equally I'm here to listen through comments if you want to comment. I was going to point below, but I always said I would never do that. But send me a comment, send me a mail, and love to hear from you. So I'm not going to pin an addition to this. I'm just going to release it as an ad hoc video, and it's there for you to watch. But until the next time, from sunny Halifax, from the harbour side, God bless you. Take care.